Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome back to another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a new project from Orbx that covers the entire globe. Now, one of the huge differences graphically between the old flight simulators like FSX and earlier incarnations of Microsoft Flight Simulator is the detail in the vegetation. In fact, some of you may remember when Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 was first announced, one of the things that Azobo were particularly proud of is the fact that this world has in it 1.5 trillion trees. That of course really brought the landscape to life, particularly if you were flying in rural areas, landing on grass strips, etc. But it didn't mean that it was going to be perfect. Of course, seasons were not included, so no matter where you were at what time of year, the trees always looked the same. And one of the biggest drawbacks is that of course different kinds of trees and vegetation grow in different parts of the world. Trees in the Caribbean are of course different from those in Europe, which are of course different from those in North America and Canada. And to be able to get these differences, that is something that just helps add to the immersion. One of the other great things about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 when it came out was this was the first time you could get right down to the ground and actually see blades of grass. Landing on that trimmed grass strip whilst you've got all the shrubbery around you is just something which we'd never had before in any flight simulator. But all the default grass, plants and shrubbery are pretty much the same the world over, which in real life of course that is not the case. Now though, from one of Flight Simulation's most trusted developers, Orbx, comes a brand new add-on called Microsoft Flight Simulator Global Trees HD. Now, what's in a name? Well, that's exactly what we're going to have a look at in this video and see just what the Global Trees HD add-on from Orbx will actually bring. It'll be installed, as all Orbx add-ons can be, through their installer. However, it is actually a program, so once installed you will launch the program and so then you have the interface which you'll be able to use. Now this of course is very straightforward and pretty much self-explanatory. You can select what season you would like. Obviously looking between the north and southern hemispheres it will tell you spring or fall. You can then change it back to the default biome of Microsoft Flight Simulator. You've got of course summer and winter. Make sure you've got this set the correct way of course for the particular season and time of year you wish to be flying, and then again just the fall and spring depending on where you want to be. Now the current time of year as I'm filming this video is July, and so then we're going to set this to summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the south. Over on the right we've got different grass types, and again just pick one of these that takes your fancy. I think instead of the default grass we're going to go for grass type number 5. After that, just apply to the sim and then it's installed, and this overrides all of the vegetation in Microsoft Flight Simulator, from grass, shrubs, trees and everything. Once that's done, let's go and take a look. Now, it goes without saying that this add-on is probably not something you are going to find particularly useful or notice any real differences if you spend most of your time at 36,000 feet. Those of you, however, that like GA flying and spending most of your time at around 2,000 feet and below, etc., then you're probably going to really like this and see the differences straight away. This is North America, and as you can see on screen, actually I think this looks pretty darn good. We've got the right kind of trees, we've got some different variations in the foliage as well. Not every tree is the same. It is the summer season of course, so 9 healthy green evergreen trees that you can see there. Little bits of vegetation creeping in as well. Nothing we can do about the absurd camber in the road. That's down for Orbx and satellite imagery to fix. But as you can see there, that picture on screen, I think for a 3D representation of the world, looks very good indeed. Let's just halt our camera in the middle of the road, have a look then around. Everything looks really nice, everything correct for the time of year and where we are of course in the world. Let's have a look at that grass, just get the camera zoomed down a little bit, and yeah, that's the grass that we installed. And again, to be honest, just looking at that, different heights of trees, young, old, different species of trees as well. I don't think there's anything bad to actually say about that. That looks really nice. Next then I decided to go to the Caribbean, and yeah, as you would expect, a completely different kind of vegetation there on the ground. I even decided to go for a walk in the deep dark woods, not something you'd ever normally do of course, or be bothered about in a flight simulator, but just for idle curiosity. The one thing that struck me was that every single tree was different. I couldn't find anything that looked the same. This picture looking up at those contrails in the sky looked like an incredible leap forward since my days flying in FSX. South America was next, and I happened to come up across a place which looked like my old Windows desktop. It's fair to say that the grass and vegetation is much improved on the default, looking really nice. And of course, when you see all of the nice thick greenery of the trees, well, to be honest, I think you'd be hard pushed at times to tell if it was a simulator or indeed a real image. Very nicely done. And even with this amount of vegetation all turned up to full, with this new add-on, the frame rates were superb. I also thought I'd take this opportunity to check out the approach to my local aerodrome, runway 24. It does have a bank of trees just to the right hand side, slightly encroaching on that flight path, and yes, there they are, exactly as I remember them, although in fairness I think they've been trimmed back a little bit in the simulator. A walk around the airfield as well gives you an even deeper appreciation for the kinds of people I think will really enjoy this add-on, and yes, those of you who like your VFR low-level flying will definitely see improvements with this Trees HD add-on from Orbx. So what are the actual main features of the add-on? Well, there are 5 main things. The first thing is it completely replaces all default vegetation with high quality vegetation that we've seen in the videos. The trees, the grass, all looking really nice and much better than default. Of course, it also gives you the opportunity and ability to change the seasons. Of course, it also gives you the opportunity to replace the default grass with 5 different variations for you to choose from. And of course, all the biomes have been reworked around the globe so that you're going to get the correct specific vegetation to appear in certain parts of the world. And the program comes with a very simple interface to use and installs the updated textures in literally a fraction of a second. Now, this product does have a rival, of course, and that is Rex AccuSeasons. Rex AccuSeasons I have used since it was released, and the thing with Rex AccuSeasons is that it has different settings if you wish for every single week of the year, seamlessly transitioning from one season to the next, whereas this only has 4 different settings where those are concerned. So can both of them be used together? Well, the answer to that is no. They are essentially replacing the exact same files. So trying to mix and match both of them, all you're actually doing is overwriting each other when you install them. So then of course that begs the question, which one is better? Well, let's go back to that video we had of my local airfield. This is the current season summer, using the new Orbx Trees HD add-on. So that looks alright. Now let's change it to winter. And if I'm perfectly honest, I don't really see that much difference. Yes, the trees are a little bit browner, a few leaves have fallen off, but it's not very winter looking, is it? It should be quite cool coloured with a lot more brown around. So I decided to flip back to Rex AccuSeasons to see what their depiction of winter looked like on this approach scene. And the difference, as you can see, was complete night and day. This is Rex AccuSeasons. This is what winter looks like. Those trees are indeed very brown, as is the grassland as well, and even the tree placement is a little bit different. There you can see those trees encroaching the path of runway 24 even more so, and that is exactly how they are in real life at my aerodrome. Trees HD from Orbx seem to remove those for some reason. There is a line of trees there right just before you touch down. They are green, probably due to the fact that they're part of the extra downloaded scenery I have for this airport. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments now. Which one gets your vote? Orbx new Trees HD or Rex AccuSeasons? If you haven't got either of them, which one would you plump for? It does have to be said though that the grass you get from Orbx's Trees HD is far superior. I love the way that you can go through and change the default grass. Sadly though, it is simply not possible. This is the Orbx Trees HD, wonderful grass, nice and vibrant, summer looking as we currently are at the moment. If I try and use Rex AccuSeason's textures with the grass from Orbx, well, it doesn't work, and this is the result. Not only that, combining the two textures, which are generally just opposing against each other, well, you kind of get a little bit of a strange effect going on with the trees, which is very unrealistic and a huge immersion killer. So you're definitely going to have to pick one or the two, Rex AccuSeasons or Orbx Trees HD. That decision then will of course be up to you, Rex AccuSeasons or the new upcoming Orbx Trees HD. There is of course a third option, and that is to wait for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and see what that brings. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you have found this video useful. If you have enjoyed it as well, please don't forget to leave a like on your way out. And of course, if you're not already a subscriber, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our future videos and of course live streams. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye bye for now.